Hello, winners. No one expected this, not Pitino, not Pope, not Stoops. But the victory was monstrous and incredible for the Cats. Let's analyze the news. Kentucky Wildcats football pulled off a monumental win over the Ole Miss Rebels that will surely reverberate throughout the rest of the season. On a night in Oxford, the Wildcats showed that they are not only willing to compete, but also willing to win against the best in the country. The 17-13 victory, in which Kentucky held on and orchestrated a fourth-quarter comeback, made it clear that Coach Mark Stoops' team is on the right track and ready to take on some serious opposition. This win comes at a crucial time in the season, especially after a narrow loss to the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Losing to Georgia by just 1 point already demonstrated Kentucky's strength, but coming away from Oxford with a win over the number 5 ranked Rebels further cements the Wildcats as a force to be reckoned with in college football. This isn't just a win. It's a milestone that could redefine the Kentucky football program for years to come. Georgia transfer quarterback Brock Vandagriff was a key player in this game. With 243 passing yards and a touchdown, Vandagriff not only managed the offense well, but also showed great control and composure in the decisive moments. His precise plays in the fourth quarter were crucial in sealing the victory, confirming that his transition to the Wildcats was a wise decision. Since his arrival, Vandagriff has been consistent, but it was against Ole Miss that he really showed his worth, leading the team in a game that was very important for their season's ambitions. In addition to Vandagriff, running back Sumo Karnbe also played a key role. With 11 carries for 47 yards, Sumo Karnbe was a constant support for the offense, keeping the Rebels' defense on its toes. While his numbers may seem modest at first glance, his impact on the field went far beyond the statistics, creating space and opening up opportunities for the passing attack to flourish. However, the standout performer of the night was wide receiver Dane Key. With 105 yards on 8 receptions, Key emerged as the Wildcats' main offensive weapon. On every play, he proved to be a reliable and explosive target, providing the spark needed to push the team to victory. Key was tireless, and his spectacular performance was the anchor that kept Kentucky's offense alive in critical moments. The connection between Vandagriff and Key was fundamental, and if it continues to develop in this way, it will be one of the most feared partnerships in the SEC. The impact of this victory was not limited to the Oxford field. Shortly after the game, former Kentucky basketball coach Rick Pitino made a point of showing his support for the football team on social media. Pitino, a legend in the world of college basketball, recognized the importance of this triumph and congratulated the Wildcats on their achievement. His public support not only reflects the magnitude of the victory, but also further unites the Kentucky community around the football team. This kind of recognition from a figure like Pitino brings a new wave of enthusiasm and confidence to the Wildcats, something that could be a motivating factor as the season progresses. With this win, Kentucky now enters the final stretch of the season with renewed confidence. Mark Stoops' work at the helm of the program has been consistent, and he deserves credit for molding a competitive and resilient team. Stoops has always been a coach who places a strong emphasis on preparation and hard work, and that approach is clearly paying dividends. The Wildcats are establishing themselves as a team that can compete with any opponent, and wins against teams like Ole Miss are proof of that. If Kentucky can maintain this level of performance, there is much more to celebrate. With the combination of a rising quarterback, a talented wide receiver core, and a defense that holds up in crunch time, the Wildcats are poised to make their mark on college football this year. This is the kind of win that defines seasons and transforms programs. Wildcats fans have plenty of reason to be excited, and as Rick Pitino has made clear, high expectations are in the air. There's still a long way to go, but with the determination Kentucky has shown thus far, expectations are certainly higher than ever. And speaking of Brock Vandagriff, who showed his worth and established himself as one of the Kentucky Wildcats' top players with a performance that will undoubtedly be remembered for a long time. The Wildcats' victory over the 6th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels is one of the greatest in the program's history, and much of that triumph was due to Vandagriff's performance, who played the best game of his career to date. Although the final score showed only 20 points for Kentucky, the game was a true demonstration of resilience and strategy. Vandagriff's offense found ways to overcome an elite defense, and, despite struggling at times, the team came away with a crucial victory in Oxford. With that, the Wildcats are proving that they can compete on equal terms with the best teams in the country. Vandagriff, who was 18 of 28 passing for 243 yards and a touchdown, had a solid and efficient performance. Most importantly, no turnovers. Keeping possession and avoiding mistakes was key to Kentucky's success. The connection between Vandagriff and wide receiver Dane Key was once again the highlight of the game. Key recorded 105 yards on 8 receptions, including a touchdown, continuing his rise as one of the Wildcats' top offensive weapons. In the last 2 games, Key has surpassed the 100-yard receiving mark, demonstrating increasing creativity with his quarterback. Another standout offensive player was Barion Brown, who had 5 receptions for 88 yards. His longest reception was a crucial 4th-down conversion in the 4th quarter, leading to a touchdown fumble recovery by Josh Caddis after Gavin Wimsatt fumbled the ball at the goal line. These types of explosive, game-winning plays underscore how dangerous this Kentucky offense can be when it gets going. Even with only 20 points on the scoreboard, it is important to highlight Kentucky's defensive performance, which held the powerful Ole Miss offense to 353 total yards, well below its average of over 600 yards per game. This was a determining factor in the victory, as the Wildcats' defense proved capable of containing one of the best offenses in the country. The contrast between Kentucky's offense and Ole Miss was subtle, with the Wildcats totaling 336 total yards, just 17 fewer than the Rebels, who have the most efficient offense in college football. However, not everything was perfect for Vandagriff. One point that may raise some concerns is the fact that he tends to hold the ball longer than ideal, resulting in 4 brutal sacks on 3rd downs. Those sacks ended up costing him some crucial yards, and on a day when Kentucky's specialist team was not at its best, those losses were even more damaging. Even with these minor setbacks, it's impossible not to feel confident about what Brock Vandagriff has put out on the field. Compared to what he struggled with in Week 2 against South Carolina, the improvement is clear. This was the 3rd consecutive game in which he didn't throw an interception, a statistic that certainly boosts his confidence and that of his coaches. His performance was also validated by a solid evaluation from Pro Football Focus, which gave him a 78.0 grade for the game against Ole Mississippi. For the season, Vandagriff now has a 72.7 average, the 5th highest among Kentucky offensive players and the 3rd highest among those who have played at least 60 snaps. These numbers reflect not only his consistency, but also his ability to lead the Wildcats' offense in high-level games. With the first bye week of the season approaching and the next matchup against Vanderbilt in Lexington, Kentucky finds itself in a very promising position. The team is getting stronger with each game, and Vandagriff in particular is stepping up at just the right time. The final stretch of the regular season promises to be a big challenge, but with a talented and emerging quarterback like Vandagriff, the Wildcats have reason to believe there is still plenty to come. With a stout defense and an offense that is finding its stride, the Kentucky Wildcats could very well be the surprise package this season. And it all starts with the confidence generated by this landmark win over Ole Mississippi. The road to the postseason looks bright, and Vandagriff is ready to lead Kentucky to big wins. Stone Saunders' commitment to the Kentucky Wildcats just took on a new dimension after the young quarterback from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, set a remarkable record on Friday night. Saunders, a 3-star prospect in the class of 2025, etched his name in the history books by throwing his 177th touchdown pass, becoming the new Pennsylvania high school passing touchdown record holder. The historic play came on a 38-yard pass to teammate Dom Diaz-Ellis, further cementing Saunders' status as an intriguing college football prospect. With over 1,200 yards and 20 touchdowns already recorded on the season heading into this game, Saunders continues to impress not only with his production, but with his consistency over the years. He threw for more than 3,000 yards in each of his first 3 high school seasons, including a stunning performance last season with 56 touchdown passes as a junior. That performance caught the attention of Kentucky, which now sees Saunders as an under-recognized gem on the national stage. Currently ranked as the number 35 quarterback in the country by 247 Sports and the 15th best player in Pennsylvania, Saunders appears ready to take the next step in his career. While the attention in quarterback recruiting has recently shifted to more high-profile players like 4-star Lexington Christian native Cutter Boley, Saunders emerges as a key piece of the Wildcats' future. 247 Sports scouting recruiting analyst Andrew Ivins highlighted Saunders' potential as a long-term starter in a balanced, pro-style offense. According to Ivins, the young QB projects as a multi-year starter at the Power 4 level who can win with timing and accuracy. That kind of readability and ability to operate in a balanced offense is exactly what the Kentucky Wildcats are looking for in their quarterback room, making Saunders a promising addition to the roster. While Saunders may not have received the same attention as other highly rated recruits, his record-breaking performance in Pennsylvania is a testament to his talent. His ability to throw touchdowns so efficiently demonstrates that he possesses not only the arm strength and accuracy, but also the mental ability to manage a high-level offense. These are attributes that will be valuable as he transitions to college football and eventually competes for a starting role at Kentucky. With Cutter Boley and Stone Saunders on the roster, the future of the Kentucky Wildcats quarterbacks looks set to be very bright. The combination of highly promising young talent provides a solid foundation for head coach Mark Stoops to continue building his program. If both continue to develop, Kentucky will have a quarterback room that can not only compete, but also be one of the most dynamic in the SEC. Saunders' success on the field and now in the recruiting process is a story that exemplifies how development and hard work can surpass initial expectations. Kentucky has already demonstrated that it is willing to invest in young talent, and Saunders' commitment only reinforces that approach. Wildcats fans have reason to be excited about the team's future, especially with quarterbacks like Saunders and Boley leading the way. As college football continues to place an increasing value on accurate and intelligent passers, Kentucky is in a unique position with 2 young players who can shape the future of the program. And with Saunders' record now in Pennsylvania football history, the next chapter of his career promises to be as brilliant as the accomplishments he already achieved in high school. In a game marked by comebacks and heroic performances, one name in particular shone brightly: Terrion Nichols. The Wildcats' true freshman cornerback demonstrated not only skill on the field, but a rare determination as he battled a serious injury and still helped guide his team to one of the most important victories of the season. After the game, Coach Mark Stoops couldn't hide his excitement and pride when he saw the strength of the BBN fans in the stands, showing how much this victory meant to the program and the Blue Nation. When talking about Nichols, Stoops was emphatic. The young cornerback has the heart of a true champion. And that assessment wasn't just figurative. Nichols, who dislocated his shoulder during the game, didn't hesitate to put his body on the line to help the Wildcats overcome the powerful Ole Miss. Nichols' level of commitment was impressive. After suffering the injury, he had his shoulder reset, wrapped, and returned to the field to continue playing in one of the most critical moments of the game. That kind of effort and personal sacrifice is what separates the good players from the great ones. It's a testament to the heart and determination that Nichols brought to the field that is hard to explain but impossible to ignore. He embodied the fighting spirit that Coach Stoops values so much about his program. And that spirit was absolutely necessary. Before kickoff, Kentucky was hit with devastating news. Cornerback Maxwell Hairston, a highly regarded first-round pick in the NFL draft, had been ruled out of the game due to injury. Without their top defender in the secondary, the team was left in a vulnerable position against one of the most prolific passing attacks in college football. Yet Nichols, despite his youth and the severity of his injury, stepped up to the plate to protect the defense, and he did so in exceptional fashion. Nichols finished the game with an impressive 75.4 grade from Pro Football Focus, the highest of any Kentucky defender who logged at least 10 snaps during the game. His performance was so solid that he was only targeted once by Ole Miss, and he even managed to deflect the only pass thrown his way. This performance was crucial in keeping the Rebels' attack at bay, allowing Kentucky to maintain its lead and secure the victory. For such a young player, the maturity and skill that Nichols demonstrated on such a big stage was astonishing. His 76.9 grade for the season, according to PFF, ranks him second on the team among those who logged at least 20 snaps. Those stats are impressive on their own, but they're even more remarkable when you consider the context. A rookie dealing with a significant injury in one of the biggest games of the season and still putting together one of the team's best defensive performances. Speaking of the future, Terrion Nichols looks incredibly promising, and he is already showing that he could be a key pillar of the Wildcats defense for years to come. With players like Nichols emerging and showing unwavering commitment, the future of Kentucky Wildcats football under Mark Stoops is filled with potential. Be sure to leave a comment with your thoughts. Comment below.